And if the interest rates do continue to rise, I do believe values will continue to decline.
He said, the bank is going to auction my house tomorrow at 12 p.m. if I don't have a firm sale.
I want people to realize that there are lucrative opportunities in there. And, these are not just Maple Leaf stories. Please welcome to the show, Luca Bartella.
Thanks, Nick. Thanks for having me back.
I'm so excited to have you on because I really want our viewers to understand the opportunities that can still be present in good markets and in bad markets. You do fix and flip properties. Now you're doing contracting work as well. There's a whole variety of stuff. You use the BRRRR method system. There's many things that get done within your company itself. And I really look up to what you guys have done because I've seen you guys from the ground up. So if you don't mind, let's start with just understanding for the viewers that don't understand what wholesaling means. What is wholesaling?
So essentially, real estate wholesaling is marketing directly to sellers who want to sell their house privately for whatever reason, right? They might need a quick sale because they already purchased the house. They might be in financial distress, or maybe they just don't want to deal with the hassle of listing, doing all the showing, staging, etc. I can give you one example, kind of an extreme case. So we had a seller it was Ajax. The guy owned a condo. He called us, let's say it was Tuesday at 8 p.m. He said, the bank is going to auction my house tomorrow at 12 p.m. if I don't have a firm sale prior to that. So that was Tuesday at night. We were there Wednesday morning, putting pen to paper on a firm deal. Now, the value that we added to that seller was not only was he getting a firm deal, but we also gave him a 1-month closing plus another month to stay in the house, find a place to rent, and we even went in and helped him move all his stuff because he was an older gentleman. He had a disability, couldn't do it on his own. So that's where we can come in and provide some value. Now, we always say, we can help a seller in a numerous amount of ways, but we're not going to be the highest price because obviously at the end of the day, it's a business and we have to make a profit.
So you're straight up with them right from the get-go. As soon as you say hello, right after hello, it's like you're letting them know right up front that you are not going to be the highest price point. You are not going to be able to, they're not going to get what they're going to be able to get on the retail market, but what you're going to be able to provide them is a quick closing, a firm date, and basically give them the options to move out. Because I didn't realize how big of a market there is out there in the marketplace in regards to wholesaling. There are people out there that are willing to take less than below market value. And what we talk about below market value is what you're going to be able to sell on the Toronto MLS system as from a real estate perspective. Majority of the people that you deal with don't want to list their house on the MLS. They're either in a distressed position where they have a second mortgage on it and they're having difficulty paying both. Marriage, divorces, right? So people are going through a divorce situation and they just want out of the deal. Those are the opportunities that you'll look for. And those are the clients that sometimes just want to get, away from their spouses, right? There's hoarders out there that also do not want to go through the process of getting their home ready to go up on the market. And I ended up buying one from that. And that's where I started to realize, wow, there is a market of people that just don't want to go through the trouble of decluttering their house and go through the staging and cleaning and getting the house ready. They would rather take less money. And those are the opportunities that you guys go out there and look for. How do you find them though? How do you find it? Because it's such a big scale of trying to find somebody who's looking to sell their house at a discounted rate. So can you kind of put us into what kind of your systems are like?
For sure, yeah. So it's all, it's different channels of marketing. I wish I could say there was one easy stream of marketing that is going to guarantee you the right type of seller, but the two main is online or direct mail. So mail is, we're sending letters to people's houses and it's not targeted. We're just going by neighborhood. So the conception here is not that there's a large market of people looking to sell at a discount. We're trying to cast a wide net because we know if you're doing enough marketing, you're going to find that small percentage of people that we can actually add value to. So it's not that there's a lot of people looking to sell privately. It's that there are some there and you just have to find them. Because let's say we talk to 100 people in, a week or a month, probably 90%, so 90 people are actually better suited to working with someone like yourself. They're not in a rush. Their house is in pretty good condition, and they can afford the time and the work of staging it and being patient to get that MLS top dollar offer.
Yeah, sometimes a lot of those calls that you're going to get are people trying to avoid a real estate agent not paying those commissions. So if they were able to do a private deal with you guys, that's probably a lot of the calls that you're going to 90% of those calls that you're getting are those type of clients.
For sure. That's a lot of people are, just kicking tires because maybe they saw our ad online. Maybe they got our mail and they're just like, okay, what would they offer us? If it's an amazing offer, we'll take it. So for us, it's, when we're on the phone, we're not selling them, we're qualifying them. So we're trying to understand, is there any value we can provide here? Whether it's, buying the house completely as is, because maybe it's a hoarder house. Maybe there's material defects that would cost an arm and a leg for them to fix. Maybe, again, they need a quick closing. Maybe they need money up front, right? So we've had cases where, we had one, let's say it was 2-3 weeks ago. Someone called us, again, their house was going to be sold as a tax sale, right? So that means that they owed property taxes for, I think it was 2-3 years they hadn't paid. So they call us, they need $45K within 3 days in order to pay off the city, right? So if you need $45,000 in 3 days, your house is a complete dump. Does it really make sense to get the house listed? Like, is there enough time for that? Probably not. So that's where we can lend a solution. But if somebody calls and says, hey, my house is in immaculate condition. We just did a $200,000 rental. It's the nicest house on the street. I was going to list it for 1.5, but why don't you guys give me 1.45? Honestly, as you know, there's no profit there. Because what can I possibly do with that property to make money? I'm going to buy it at 1.45, pay $50K in land transfer tax. I'm already at the market value of 1.5. So to that person, we're honestly telling them, like, I don't think we're the best fit for you. It sounds like your house is beautiful. You're not in a rush. Why don't you reach out to a realtor and see what they think? You don't have a realtor? Why don't you call Nick OP?
and there you have it. This is how we organize ourselves to come together, to work together in exactly. many deals. And what we're doing is trying to help people out of situations that they're in. And you probably see a lot of that now with interest rates being so high that it becomes difficult for people to carry on these properties. And they're going to be looking sometimes to get a quick out because they have a second mortgage. They're probably in default on that second. The first is maybe calling in it. They need a quick close. They need a strong deposit. They need to know that there's a firm deal in place so that they can remove themselves from all that strain that they're in right now. And these opportunities do arise for you. And sometimes we are there to help them through the process of getting through these difficult times. And when you said it perfectly, you are a solution to a problem. And that's all we're trying to do. You're not trying to take properties away from people. You're just trying to help them through the process. In the meantime, to do it, you need to be lucrative with it. It's a business, and we all, operate our businesses to become profitable. How is the business nowadays? Because if we look at it in when the market was really good, right? Interest rates were still a lot lower. Maybe they, a lot of people will say, well, I don't need for you to wholesale it. I can call a real estate agent, sell it as retail. Do I really need your services at this point? Because homes were selling in a week within 7 days. And you look at the perspective of if interest rates do climb, and they've climbed now to 7%, and some are carrying two mortgages on these properties, or even have one mortgage, but it's very high and are paying a very large sum of mortgage payments that they can't afford right now. Are you finding that the wholesale market right now is more lucrative in these markets or in previous markets that were really good?
It's similar, right? It's different, but the net outcome is pretty similar. So I'll explain that. So what happened when, let's say February 2022, when the market was absolutely ripping, we were able to offer more to the seller because basically the market was going up every week. So we're getting a little bit of a discount, but we're locking in that price knowing by the time we close on it, the market's up. Or, which I'm sure we'll get into, a lot of these deals we're assigning, right? So some of them we close on ourselves, renovate, resell, but majority we're assigning. So we weren't able to get as good of a discount from the seller, but we were able to get a higher price from the buyer. Because again, they're factoring in that appreciation, they're also, maybe they typically buy on MLS, but as you know, at that time, there was no inventory, right?
A
There
lot
was
of
no
multiple
houses
offers.
to choose
A
from.
lot of multiple offers were happening. They don't want to get into the
Exactly.
multiple offers.
So they come to us and they're offering closer to market value. So we don't need as big of a discount. Then what happened, I'd say last summer was probably the toughest for our business because the sellers, it seems like the sellers always take time to catch up. They're waiting for the news to tell them what's going on with the market. Whereas an investor is, kind of has their pulse on it, right?
Yeah.
So last summer, the investor knew it looks like the market's going down. It looks like interest rates are going to continue to rise. So I need an even bigger discount. But the sellers on the flip side were saying, well, the last article I saw in the Globe and Mail said sales are up, prices are up. So they still wanted close to market value. So that was a bit of a tough time for the industry. Now looking forward, it seems like it's shifting where the sellers are starting to adjust so we can get better discounts again. And the buyers are starting to feel like, maybe we're getting closer to the bottom of this, right? Maybe this is a good time to scoop up deals, whether it's for a flip or a rental. Yes, I have to close with higher interest rates now, but I'm buying at a lower price that when interest rates do turn, that value is going to shoot up.
Makes total sense. And I know that there's going to be a lot of people right now, especially investor wise, that was a big chunk of our market share. And I talk about this quite often. The investor play was about 30% of the market. Today, they're probably been removed. Speculators on the fix and flip side of things, we're a very big chunk of it. And I think that number is even higher than 30% combined between investor and speculator. There are people that are very fearful into getting into the market because they don't know if we've already hit the rock bottom. And I can judge it based on one perspective, and I look at it from what the Bank of Canada is going to do with their interest rate. And if the interest rates do continue to rise, I do believe values will continue to decline. I don't think that's going to happen. I think this is going to plateau for some time. And I think that maybe come spring market or the second quarter of 2024, I do believe that there's going to be a continued surge in the market because where are all these people that are coming into this country that are immigrating here going to buy? And I do believe investors will come back into the game. And I do believe first-time home buyers, once interest rates do go down, they'll be able to get approved. So timing the market is not always it's not always favorable, but if you can try to balance it out where you're going to get in, I think there's going to be a lot of money to be made within these timeframes because when this market does turn back, man, I see these jumps really significantly coming back really hard. So the ones that are struggling, if they can hold on, my advice is to always wait it out. But there are people in these circumstances that can't go through that process. They need a quick sale, and that's why finding solutions like your companies to go in there and tie these properties up are very important. What I want to understand is there a market right now if an investor wants to come in? Because I always feel like no matter what the markets are, there's always opportunities, in my opinion. Is there an opportunity right now for an investor to want to start coming back into the market, maybe with a company like yours? And what I like to provide is creative solutions, and that's why I created this podcast, is to help people understand how they continuously make this a business. Because the market is down, it doesn't mean I stop, right? As a realtor. Yeah. As an investor, I don't stop. I look at what opportunities are going to be available to me, and I'm on your list. I get your properties all the time, and we're getting them weekly. If I see an opportunity in there today that I see that it's still below market value, that you want to sign that paper over to me, and it needs some work, and I can flip and I can still make a return within the market because I feel that the market's hit its rock bottom, I'm going to do it. Are there those opportunities still in the market right now?
For sure. I like what you said there where, it doesn't matter what market you're in. You can always, there's always opportunity, right? So I think in, let's say 2021, 2022, when rates were still rock bottom, the play there was the BRRRR method, right?
Right.
You buy a property, renovate it, raise the value. The value's gone up enough that you could refinance, get all your money out, and go buy the next property.
Right.
So, and still cash flow. Because the interest rate was so low, you rent it out, you're cash flowing. So there's pretty much no cash flow anymore unless you're putting a massive down payment, which again, that just tells you like the BRRRR method's not going to work. So that's fine, that's out. I think the shift we're seeing now is, if you do have a lot of capital, you could put a lot of money down, go scoop up that rental that last year was $800K, today it's $600, right? You scoop that up, you're keeping that long term. Where we see opportunity is flips, because like you said, like people are still moving, immigration's still high. People are still moving here. People still need homes. So
transactions are still happening.
exactly.
Right. So the end user is still buying.
Exactly. So maybe, you buy a fourplex, there's not an investor in 6 months to buy it at a higher price.
Yeah.
But we feel like if you're buying a starter home, single family home, if you buy it at enough of a discount, you're still going to be able to resell it at a profit. So that's what we're focused on now, just buying right. And really the thought process behind our whole business is, regardless of what market you're in, if you buy right, you can make profit.
Yeah, and I love that. How about financing options though today? Like if somebody wants to get into a fix and flip, what is the best financial option out there for somebody that you've come to recognize within the market? Because most banks want you in for a long-term fixed rate, or make sure that they're going to have you at least on a 3-year financing option. What options do you have out there for people that want to get creative on their financing to help them close on these fix and flips? Maybe you got a contractor who wants to start getting into the business. Well, what would you advise them or recommend to them?
For sure. For financing, again, honestly, if you have cash today, what's better than that, right? You're saving maybe 12% of interest. If you don't have cash, you just have to factor the interest rate into your numbers when you're determining the offer, right? The purchase price.
Makes sense.
So for us, for financing, on the flips, we always use private financing, whether it's an individual we know or a company we like to work with is Calvert, just because they specialize in flips and previously the BRRRR method. They get it. They do in-house valuation. You don't need an appraisal. Very easy to work with. Great customer service. So we're doing that. And what we find with private is, yes, you're paying a bit more, but you're moving so much faster. You're able to scale so much faster that, again, when a deal comes up that the closing's in a week, you can't go to an A bank, get them all their paperwork, give them time to do all their due diligence and have that turnaround time. So it comes down to what solution is going to get you to that outcome of purchasing that under market property.
Yeah, which is a great option, and it's a cost of doing business, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you get to deduct that based on your expenses as well, through tax purposes. And I think, people shouldn't get so rate sensitive at these times. As long as the opportunity is there and you can build that interest into your price point, that's just the way the business is going to operate, and you got to be prepared for that as a business owner to understand that these are the functionalities of fixing and flipping properties. I remember that you and your group did a lot of the BRRRR method for sure. You held a lot of sometimes your properties. You have minimal down and you held them on. I know that there's been a shift within your group, and I know that you guys had your set meetings on relinquishing a lot of the long-term rentals. Can you give us some insight on why you would prefer to just get in and out versus holding long-term?
I think when rates were low and you could cash flow and you could do the BRRRR method, it was a scalable business just to own rentals, right? So you pick up one rental, you raise the value through renovations, plus obviously there's some appreciation. You refinance it, you got all your money back, but because interest rates are still low, you're cash flowing. So that house has just become a self-sustaining, almost like its own business, right? And then you're just on to the next one and on to the next one, on to the next one. As the rates rise and values come down, not only can you not refinance and get your money back, but you're also cash flow negative on these properties. So at the end of the day, like, we're investors, right? We're not married to one type of strategy. So that strategy is obviously not working. It's where can I take my money to get a higher return? And essentially on a rental, if you're purchasing a rental now, with today's rates, today's rents, yes, rents have risen, but you're at a negative return, maybe break even. Whereas you do a flip, you buy right, we're targeting 20, 30% return on our equity. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, it's just night and day, and it's just finding the best opportunity in today's market.
So you're still fixing flipping right now, right?
For sure.
So you've bought a couple right now.
Yeah.
And I guess a lot of the long term, I guess to get yourself a little bit more liquid, is a very good strategy based on where the market is, right? So if you've sold some of your long term, now you're going to liquidate the company to get some more liquid cash, because I think timing is everything within our industry, and it's very important. Yes, location is everything within the business itself, because you always want to buy in the right locations, and you want to buy them good at the right price points. But when we're buying in a decline market, it's so hard and difficult, and through my experience, to really time how fast that market's going down and what price points you should be really buying. Because if you do get caught sometimes, and it's happened to me, where you have to really hold on to that property until that market comes back, because you only lose money once you sell, right?
Exactly.
So if the market's gone down a certain amount, maybe by 10, 15% on $1 million transaction, that's $150,000 loss. Sometimes if you're in a position where you can, sustain that loss by holding onto the property, you really didn't lose anything. And then maybe look at leveraging some of the properties that you bought a little bit older, where you can start being a little bit more liquid on. And I think that my advice to people right now is that if they're holding back and they're waiting it out, I don't see interest rates really rising anymore. I think we've hit our rock bottom. I think opportunities are going to start coming. And there's a lot of people that don't understand your business and how the system works. But you pretty much walk them through the entire process from beginning to end. It's really white glove service. You guys will type the agreements, because basically what you do is you tie up the property from the original seller, and then you're selling, an assignment is selling that paper. For those that don't understand what assignments are, you're selling that paper over to a new buyer. You're finding a buyer. You've built a buyer database, not just a seller pool, but you're building a buyer pool as well. Can you run us through the process of what it's like transacting with your team?
Sure. Maybe I'll take a step back and give, an overall system of how, that lead comes in to us monetizing it.
Yeah, that's great.
So like we kind of talked about, we're sending direct mail, online ads to get the attention of that seller who's looking to sell privately. So they'll call in to our office. One of the sales reps will take that call, get a sense from them, get some property details. What's the address? How many square feet? Have you done any renovations recently? And that gives us the ability to, run some comparables, determine roughly what it's worth, and, roughly where we can offer. The more important piece there is understanding that
Sorry, Luke, one quick question. Are you going to the house, or are you just doing this through online right away on the computer? You'll understand a good value at that point in time.
Yeah, we can get a pretty good sense just from that initial call, that conversation on the phone. So the first step is to determine the property details, what's the house worth, why is the seller selling, and are we a good fit for them? Okay, so to determine if we're a good fit, it's basically, the condition of the property, their price expectations, and their reason for selling. If there's some combination of a distressed property, a distressed seller, or reasonable price expectations, then we'll go to that next step of booking an appointment, right? So we'll book an appointment. Our acquisition rep will go see the property, do a, let's say, 20-minute walkthrough, sit that seller down, run them through, our business, what we can offer, understand their needs. Is it a good fit? If it is a good fit, we'll put an offer on paper. And then, from there, it's up to the seller. Ideally, you want to iron out a deal on the spot. Maybe they need 3 days, 4 days, a week to think about it. But the goal is to get that property under contract at a discounted price where there's profit there. So we're going to run the numbers as if we're flipping it. And we're going to make our offer based on, if we close on this property, renovate it, sell for X, these are all our costs, carrying costs, renovation costs, back all that out, some room for profit, obviously. That's how we get to our offer. So we put that property under contract. We have, a purchase and sale to purchase that property 45 days from now. Now we take it back to our office, and, me, Giacomo, and Sal, we look at what do we have on the go right now? Do we like this area? Do we have the capacity to flip this ourselves right now? If we really like that one, it fits with our criteria, we'll take it down ourselves. Maybe we have too much on the go. We'll send it out to our buyers list because we still think it's a great deal. Like you said, you see these deals weekly, and then we're looking to assign that contract for a higher price than what we purchased it from the seller. So I'll give you an example. Let's say we're purchasing a house in Hamilton. It's worth maybe $600,000 if it were to be cleaned out and listed. We're going to offer let's say 500,000. And then we're going to send that property out to our list at, let's say 525. So we feel like we're sending it out at a price that's still a good discount so that end buyer can still make a profit, but we're also making our fee of 25,000.
That's how big the margins are in between of what you're buying it for and what you're even going to flip it to somebody else for.
That's
you're not
what
even selling it at retail at that point in time. You're still selling it below market value.
Exactly.
Nice.
Exactly. Because we want it to essentially be a win-win-win. So the seller's getting the value they're looking for, maybe a quick closing, money up front, buying the house as is. We're making the assignment fee, and then the end buyer has access to a discounted property that they can still make a profit on. So again, win-win-win.
Nice. Very good. I have experience on these properties back in the time. I'm just not, I'm probably not the right fit as your buyer who's going to go out in Kitchener or Waterloo. I did buy one in Hamilton. I remember my story, my biggest flip was Aurora.
Yeah.
Where I ended up picking up one of your wholesale deals at that time. And I want to share the story because I want people to realize that there are lucrative opportunities in there. And, these are not just Maple Leaf stories. But, I ended up doing one and I ended up picking it up at around a detached house, beautiful lot at the time, right on Aurora Road, side road, something like that. And we bought it for $840. I think I put in maybe $50,000 into it. I was in it for $890 with closing costs and everything. It was like $910. After the renovation, we put it on the market, and the market was at that point we just caught it right, and it was just up in a huge incline, and I ended up selling it for like $1,230,000 at the time. And there was you got to remember, if I bought it from you at $840, there was still, and you guys were still being profitable selling to me for $840. Imagine the upside in these opportunities. So, I want people to realize that there is a market for it. You don't realize how big of a market there is, but there is essentially people out there that are under distress or just want to not list their house on the market and are willing to sell it at a discounted price for the convenience of not going through the process. That's what I do. I do believe that most people should go up on the market, and that's not to contradict your business in any way. Just because I do think that there are opportunities that are going to be sometimes more lucrative, but I get it. Sometimes people are in financial strains. I remember I went to go see a client once, and he was moving to BC, and he just wanted to go there and retire. And he was obese. The house was in really poor condition. It was really a lot of clutter around, And it would have took us at least a week and a half to 2 weeks to just declutter this house if my team went inside and did the job for them. He didn't want nothing to do with it. And the property was probably worth about $650,000 at the time. And he goes, Nick, find me a buyer off market right now. I'm willing to sell this thing at $500,000. And he was willing to do it. And we ended up finding a buyer for it. And he just refused to go through the process of doing it. He wanted to get his money, move out of the house. The promise was that he can leave whatever he wanted behind. The new buyer would go in there and clean it all out. We did that for him, and that's sometimes the convenience of the service that we provide within the business, and that's the solution that you guys also provide. What type of flips are you guys looking for now, right? Because you've evolved, right? There's not every single type of flip is going to be the right flip for you. What do you guys look for specifically in your team now?
For sure. So for us, like we've said, you can make money in any market, but you do have to adjust given the market that you're in. So, I do think we're probably at the top of rates, but we still like to, think a little bit conservatively. Maybe there's still some room for the market to go down. So what we try to do is minimize the market risk, right? The market's out of our control. Let's take that out of the equation. So we're looking to do flips that ideally it's, smaller properties, cosmetic rentals that we can be in and out of there in 2-3 months. Because even in a declining market, how much can it really go down in 2-3 months, right?
Yeah.
Whereas when you're purchasing a property that you have to knock down walls, redo the roof, windows, plumbing, structural work, it could be 4, 5, 6 month rental, another 3 months to sell and close. It could be a year process. And we don't know where the market's going to be in a year. Hopefully it's going to be up, but why not take that part out of the equation? We know what we're good at. We can purchase the property at a discount. We can strategically renovate to maximize the value while staying on budget, get it back on the market and sold quickly. And that's what we're trying to focus on.
Yeah, no, that's pretty cool. Plus, you also have now the contracting side of things. So you guys now have set up your own crews with your own team where internally you're saving some big costs instead of outsourcing it to a contractor. It's all the work is getting, in-house with your own trades. What's that been like? What's the process on that? Because you guys don't just do it for your fix and flips. I want to make it clear that you guys will finish basements or renovate houses and even continue now building houses, I'm assuming, at this point in time.
Exactly.
How did you start to evolve in the contracting side of things?
So yeah, I started with the flips because we noticed, okay, we're buying the property at a discount, but sometimes we were overpaying contractors and for low quality of work, right? So you would think that, if you pay a premium, it should be done on budget, on schedule, and with high quality. But we weren't getting any of that. So we felt like, let's bring this in-house, and that just adds another tool to our tool belt of how can we maximize the profit on each flip. Mm-hmm. So we brought it in-house for our own, and then we just felt like there was an opportunity there, right? If we're having this challenge with other contractors, aren't other people having that same challenge?
For sure.
So we felt there was opportunity there. And then, my partner Giacomo kind of led that division, and, we started marketing, just trying to show that, I'll be honest, we're not going to be the cheapest contractor, but we will be on budget. We will bring, a high degree of craftsmanship and quality, and definitely customer service.
Which is huge in your industry, in
Exactly.
the contracting side of things, because I've been to the process where I had to hire a contractor, and, they come in there, start my job, and then say, oh, go leave for a week and then come back to restart again. You know what I mean? And that's so frustrating, especially when you're paying a premium. You're like, no, come in my house, do my renovation, get in, get out, because I need to get to work myself. I can't have you in my house for 3 months. And then to get these guys to answer a phone call and to show up was a big, difficult task. And I always said it, I said, if I was a contractor today, the first and most important thing, and if there's contractors listening to the show right now, you have to provide the customer service. It's essential today. People want it. And if you can be there for that client and make sure that your service is better than anybody else in the industry, I think you will outperform your competition hands down. And yes, you get that a lot. And now we get your company actually to do a lot of our contracting work, which is great. And it's been fabulous, and it's been a great experience to work with your team. And it's been lucrative for sure. If somebody is fearful right now to want to get into the market because of all the media and all what you're hearing within the marketplace right now, what's your advice to them?
So like we've kind of been alluding to, right? There's opportunity in any market. I think running your numbers, knowing your numbers, being patient, and just taking a shot on a deal. So, whether it's one of our deals, sign up for our list, get our deals, throw the offer that makes sense for you, right? We're not in bidding wars anymore. You don't have to rush and jump in. Find the property you like and make an offer. And I think that goes towards, a buyer on the MLS, right? You have a client. A lot of people look at the list price and think that they have to offer close to the list price, right? As we can see, inventory is rising. Maybe not every seller is motivated to sell at a discount, but someone is. So you won't find that person unless you're making multiple offers.
True. So don't be the moral of that is don't be afraid to put in offers on properties. How does somebody within your business know what they're buying and if it is a good deal or not? Do you guys actually sit down with them and walk them through the option? Do you guys provide that service, or do you have to let them come up with their own judgment on price?
So we can answer any questions they have. We can give, our input, our opinion, walk them through the comps, but we always say, like, make the offer that you feel comfortable at, right?
Yeah.
So it's on them to, we can help them put together all their numbers. What financing are you getting? We can connect them with financing. We can determine, okay, when you sell it, you're going to pay XYZ, realtor and closing fees. But we'll work with them, but it's on them. They have to feel comfortable with the offer.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of the buyers we work with are repeat buyers, right? Which
They're savvy.
we're pretty proud
They
of,
understand
right?
markets.
They're savvy, and I feel like that also goes to, that goes to show we're providing good deals and good customer service, and people, come back and they want to buy again. So the first one, yeah, we can help you. We can, walk you through it. But as you become more comfortable, you're going to build on your own experience, know your own numbers, and be able to confidently offer.
That's great. Guys, SLG Capital, if you guys are looking to get into the wholesaling business, you're a contractor who wants to start doing some fix and flips, these guys are the right guys for you. I definitely recommend them. I use their services on a constant basis. If you're in a situation to want to find your own comparables, there's so many apps out there like House Sigma. You can tell you exactly what that property has been listed for, or what it's sold for, how many days on the market. It extracts all the information that you're going to need to come to your own conclusion. I'm willing to help out too as well if you really wanted to sit down and look at, hey, what opportunities are going to be there, what margins are there, what's the juice that you're going to be making on the deal if you buy it at the cost from these guys. We'll sit down with you and allow and guide you through the entire process and really hold your hand once you start your first one, to get you into your second, third, fourth, and continue growing your real estate portfolio. That's our goal here, is to help people get into the market and just understand what it's like to create a business within real estate, and so forth. And I know you guys have done it at a very young age, and so proud of you guys, because I seen you guys start from the ground up and to where you started. I remember your first wholesale deal you guys did and how nervous you guys were, when you guys were pounding to where you are today, and where the future is going to be for you guys is unlimited. And I'm so proud of you guys, and you guys are doing a great job. And I'm so appreciative and grateful to be affiliated with the company in many different ways, for sure. So we built a wonderful friendship, and it was just a pleasure to have you on the show, for sure.
For sure. I appreciate it, Nick. And you have seen us from the beginning, and, I got to say, we appreciate all that you helped us with as a mentor, as guidance, from bouncing ideas about the business, running that by you, or looking at a specific deal and saying, hey, Nick, I'm not sure about the value here. Like, what do you think? So we really appreciate that you've always been there for us.
Yeah, no problem. And I was glad to help, and sky's the limit. So, guys, if you guys want more information, I guess your website is...
So
how would you
on the renovation
side,
if you're looking for a renovation, it's slgcontracting.ca. If you want to join our buyers list, get access to those deals, it's slgpropertydeals.ca.
Yep. And if you want to just get more access to those deals as well, just DM us. We'll get you on the list, making sure that you're aware of every single property that these guys put on the market. And they are weekly, and they are wonderful, great deals and wonderful opportunities. And we'll help you through the process for sure. So thanks for tuning in. We appreciate all our listeners. And Luke, thanks again. And next time we'll get the other boys out on the show as well.
For sure. Thanks for having me, Nick.
No problem.
Looking to buy or sell? Call a team you can trust. Don't believe me? Our Google reviews say it all. Put us on your lawn, your house will be gone. theopteam.com.